Professor of Middle East and Central Asian Politics at Deakin University in Melbourne. Prof, good to have you on this program. When we hear this type of sentiment coming from Iran and then similar comments from major powers, how likely are we even to get back to that 2015 nuclear deal?
It's looking very difficult for us to go back to 2015 deal, simply because we have a new administration in Iran that has been very critical of the nuclear deal. They criticize Rouhani for making Iran look weak and giving up too much during the course of the negotiations. Now they are in office, they're in power, and they're negotiating, and they don't want to have the same kind of criticism leveled against them. So they are playing hardball. They don't even want to talk to the United States directly at the negotiations. So it is looking very difficult for talks to actually achieve the 2015 agreement.
Well, just a short while ago, we actually heard U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken saying diplomacy is the best solution here, but Washington is also speaking to its allies about alternatives. What would those alternatives possibly look like?
Well, I hope those alternatives don't involve bombing Iran, because we all know what kind of damage and instability that will create. Clearly, I think signals from the United States is that the United States is perhaps signaling that if negotiations fail, the U.S. has to resign itself, that Iran is working completely outside international norms, that Iran is possibly pursuing nuclear weapons, and that Iran will live under sanctions permanently.
Can Iran actually afford to live under sanctions permanently? I mean, we've seen the Iranian economy take a hit because of sanctions and because of COVID. We understand that it's not easy for many people living in Iran because of these sanctions. I mean, who's got the most to lose here?
Well, obviously, Iran has a lot to lose here. Inflation is extremely high. It's runaway inflation in Iran. Unemployment is a major issue, especially among the youth. So Rouhani realized that was a problem, and Rouhani worked very hard to revive the economy by removing sanctions, by working towards removing sanctions. Raisi suggests that he realizes that there's a problem with the economy, but Raisi comes from a different background. He's working within very strict ideological frameworks, and as a result, is a different point of reference. And that means that while he would appreciate a revival of the economy through negotiations, he doesn't want to trample upon ideological principles. And he has been hinting that they can look to Russia, they can look to China as alternatives to relations with the United States and with Europe. But the reality is that neither Russia or China would be able to fill the gap, and would really want to stick their neck out for Iran.
Okay, well, we'll continue to keep close eye on how those negotiations go. Shahram Akbarzadeh, live to us there from Melbourne. Thank you so much.